They don't just hurt people, they shake heaven. One ended a king's reign. Another silenced God's prophet. And one, it's still destroying friendships and families today. These are the sins God hates, and they're closer than you think. Every day, someone lies. Somewhere else, pride takes root. But did you know the Bible lists 7 sins God hates, not just dislikes, hates? The last one might shock you. What's up, Kingdom Crew? You're watching the Word where the Bible lives and breathes. Let's walk it out. You've heard of the 7 deadly sins, but these aren't just medieval church warnings. They go deeper, straight from the wisdom of King Solomon in Proverbs. These 7 actions aren't just everyday mistakes, they're actions that break the heart of God. Today, we're exposing each one, and revealing which sin might be tearing your life apart without you even knowing it. Sin isn't a mysterious concept. It's real, it's personal, and it's everywhere. But here's what most people miss. Not all sin affects our relationship with God the same way. According to Proverbs chapter 6 verses 16 to 19, there are 7 specific behaviors that God doesn't just frown upon, He calls them detestable. Imagine the creator of the universe having a list of behaviors so toxic, they threaten your connection with Him and your impact in the world. The challenge? These sins are subtle, they're woven into culture, they're even celebrated. Pride is praised as self-worth. Deceit is spun as strategy. Gossip as just sharing. The line between righteous and rebellious has been blurred, and the enemy loves that. So what are these sins? Why are they so dangerous? And which one does the most damage to your soul, your church, your world? Let's break this wide open. Here's the list from Proverbs chapter 6 verses 16 to 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to Him. Haughty eyes. A lying tongue. Hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked schemes. Feet that rush into evil. A false witness who pours out lies. A person who stirs up conflict in the community. Let's unpack these one at a time, with real-life examples and hidden dangers. Sin number 1. Haughty eyes, pride. Not just arrogance, but spiritual narcissism. Pride says, I know better than God. It's what got Lucifer kicked out of heaven. What made Adam and Eve eat the forbidden fruit. Pride hides in our self-righteousness. It whispers, at least I'm not as bad as them. It blinds us to our own sin. Pride doesn't just lift us up, it sets us up for a fall. And the higher we think we are, the harder the crash when God humbles the proud. Number 2. A lying tongue, deception. Lies kill trust, but it's more than lying to others, it's lying to ourselves. Saying we're fine when we're spiritually dry. Pretending we're generous while living selfishly. A culture built on lies crumbles, and Satan is the father of lies. John chapter 8 verse 44. When truth is twisted, trust dies, and where trust dies, relationships rot. Lies may feel small, but they rot the soul from the inside out. Sin number 3. Hands that shed innocent blood, violence. This one seems obvious. Murder, abuse, oppression. But Jesus redefined it. In Matthew chapter 5 verse 22, He said hatred is the same as murder in God's eyes. Harboring resentment, wishing harm, that's shedding innocent blood of the heart. You don't need a weapon to kill, just a heart full of hate. God sees beyond our actions and He judges the motives that no one else sees. Doesn't that hit home, folks? The 4th sin, a heart that devises wicked schemes, manipulation. This is premeditated sin, calculated cruelty. Think con artists, but also think of that friend who guilt trips to get their way. The coworker who manipulates a narrative. This sin is about control, often masked as charm. The schemer always thinks they're in control, don't they? Well, that is, until their plan collapses on top of them. Because God sees the setup before it even starts. Sin number 5 from Proverbs. Feet that rush into evil, otherwise stated as recklessness. Evil is one thing, running toward it, that's another level. Think about binge-watching trash that poisons your soul. Eagerly joining in on sin without a second thought. When sin becomes sport, we're in danger territory. When we run toward darkness, we distance ourselves from the light. The quicker we chase sin, the faster we lose our way. Okay, sin number 6. A false witness who pours out lies, character assassination. Not just a lie, this is a lie meant to destroy someone. It's weaponized speech, slander, gossip, spreading false stories to damage reputations. This is just huge in our political climate these days. A false witness doesn't just lie, they become an accomplice in someone else's downfall. And when we destroy someone's name, we reveal what's truly hiding in our own hearts. Finally, lucky sin number 7, a person who stirs up conflict in the community, division. This one ends the list for a reason. It's the climax. God hates division. Church splits, family feuds, online hate, it all grieves his heart. Unity is sacred to God. And when someone sows discord, they're doing Satan's work. Because the devil's goal has always been to divide what God unites. The enemy doesn't need to attack the church if he can get us to attack each other. If division is the weapon here, think of unity as the shield. So, which of these sins makes God angriest? Biblically, they all matter. But there's something unique about division. It's the only sin on the list that directly targets God's people as a group. In John chapter 17 verse 21, Jesus prayed this over believers, that they may all be one. Why? Because unity is how the world sees God in us. Division blocks that. It confuses the message. It weakens the church. The early church exploded in power and growth not because they had flashy programs, rather because they were one heart and mind, as so beautifully stated in Acts chapter 2 verses 44 to 47. When conflict enters that space, through gossip, backbiting, drama, it dismantles the witness of Christ. The sin of stirring up conflict isn't just annoying. It's deadly. It spreads like wildfire, and too often, it comes dressed in concern or truth-telling. But behind it, a heart that delights in watching people pick sides. That's why God hates it. It's the sin Satan used to fracture heaven. And it's still his favorite tool to fracture God's family on earth. These aren't just personality quirks or bad habits. They're spiritual landmines, each capable of devastating souls, families, and entire churches. Pride, deception, violence, manipulation, reckless sin, slander, and division. God doesn't excuse them, explain them away, or overlook them. He calls them detestable. And among them all, one continues to tear through the heart of the church and local communities like a silent disease. That's division. Because nothing destroys the body of Christ faster than when its own members turn against each other. Want to know how to protect your heart from these 7 sins? Tap the next video on screen and let's walk through the tools God gives us to fight back. Stay blessed. The word family.